Hello, I'm Toye Johnson-Vincent, motivational speaker, career topics, and life skills. Today, I'd like to just talk with you briefly about resilience and being able to bounce back from obstacles that we all may face different times in our lives. And one of the things that I talk about primarily again is career development and life skills. Excuse me. But primarily on career development side, we need to have that balance of being able to bounce back from different avenues in our careers. Oftentimes we, reach a milestone and we think we have it all and we start to celebrate, which is nothing wrong with that. I encourage celebrating. I talk about it a lot when I'm tweeting, etc., on LinkedIn as well. But in terms of resilience, what do we do when a lot of times there may be job loss and some time out of work, and then you have to bounce back? And that's not always easy. So that's on the career side. But in terms of life skills and bouncing back from different obstacles that we face, that may seem even more challenging. So today, just briefly, just say, hey, even just being human, we make mistakes in our careers, in our lives, our lifestyles, whatever we decide to do, and we look back and sometimes we say, wow, I wish I had done that in a very different way, so that I did not have to experience either the pain or loss or anything like that, and then or just feel a whole lot of regret. So, but smile. It gets better. I want to tell you today to lift you up and stay motivated in your craft. Don't let other people or things just control your thoughts or emotions so much to the point where you decide you give up. And then you're no longer passionate about your career or whatever you're trying to pursue. So that's right out of the gate what I talk about in terms of resilience. Secondly, if you want to start to, the first thing in the morning when you get up, you want to just start telling yourself something positive, how you're going to relate your day to your task. Once you figure out what task you have and you've written them down the night before, maybe even 2 nights before that, then you get up, you say, that's what I want to challenge myself today to get done. I talk about that even on Facebook, about challenges and getting things done in a timely manner, because once we go off the charts, then we're always trying to play catch up. We're just constantly, and oftentimes we just never catch up. Let's face it, myself included. So again, start by writing things down, getting them down on paper, and getting yourself to a point where you're comfortable that you will actually finish those tasks off throughout your week. For some of us, we say, wow, I don't have the time, I can't do this, I can't always get it done, but you'll find a way. So what you want to really just start to hone in on is, again, what are your tasks? What are you trying to get accomplished day to day? And then build on that, and then you start to build on resilience. So in the event that nothing goes your way that particular week, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay emotionally. You're going to be okay physically because you won't feel all tired and run down about it. And I deal with this. And I know from once I speak is that if I get too entangled on what I never got done or accomplished, then it becomes overwhelming. So, no one wants to live that way. The bottom line is, whether it's your career that you're tackling or just some other events in your life, you want to be able to enjoy and celebrate and rejoice in your accomplishments. So resilience is brilliance at its best, and you are your best. I want you to stay at your best, meet and exceed multiple goals, not just one goal in life, but multiple goals. And that's exactly what I try to do on a daily basis. Next, just briefly, when we think about motivation and how it relates to resilience, let's just talk about that for a moment. One of the hardest things to do for a lot of us is to stay motivated. And one of my topics I have is called How to Stay Motivated Throughout Your Career. But I also talk about it just in terms of being motivated in general. Because if you're not motivated in general, then career and everything else goes by the wayside. So, again, coming back to getting things down a couple of days before, a couple of evenings before, when you're more relaxed in a relaxed atmosphere and mode. And then you can move on and start thinking about how am I going to keep myself motivated throughout the week. Well, here are a couple of tips with that. First of all, again, throw the overwhelming feeling on the back burner. You don't need it. It doesn't do any good. And don't beat yourself up about certain things that you haven't accomplished throughout the week. So again, remember, I just talked about this. Resilience is brilliance, and it really, really is. You can demonstrate that through motivation, through talking to other people and seeing how they get their things accomplished throughout the week. How do they make things work when it seems impossible to complete these tasks? And that's one of the things. We typically like to keep everything to ourselves rather than ask for help. And that really is, in essence, that becomes an issue. It becomes an issue short term and long term. So start asking for help, whether it's through a family member or friends or a mentor. Someone that you trust will give you a really fine-tuned answer. And they're not just, saying it because they're your friend or they're a family member and they know you and they like you and they don't want to hurt your feelings. But ask them to give you the honest truth about how to stay motivated and what maybe you're doing right now is not working for you, and let them know some of the things that you've tried. Maybe you were thinking about this novel or a book or that you haven't read. You've heard about it. It's out on the market, but you just keep saying, I'll read that book next week. I'll buy that book next month. And now it's a year later and you haven't purchased the book, you haven't read the book, you haven't gone back online to even look at the beginning of the book or some of the pages, the introduction. So taking things a little bit at a time is a great way, but also just asking people who are normally around you, and even some people who aren't. If you meet someone new and just say, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. I'm just trying to stay motivated because I have so much on my plate. How do you do it? And so asking people for help is really and truly okay. Another thing that I do to help keep myself motivated and for that resilience and brilliance concept that I keep talking about is I try something new and improve, whether it's improve myself educationally, personally, professionally. That is what I try to do on a daily basis. If I hadn't picked up a book in a couple of days, and I know it takes me a while because I'm just not the person that's going to sit down and read an entire book in 7 days. I'm just not. I love magazines. But in terms of a novel or book, I realize I have to incorporate that time and dedicate it, and then I can say, wow, but what's going to motivate me to keep there? Because someone told me this book was great. Something in that book will help me have a better life. Something in that book will help me have a better career. Something in that book will help me develop my skills. Whether that be career or educational skills, it really drives it home. So it's very important to really focus on get out there and do something new and challenge yourself to be at your best. At most times, we can't be everything all of the time. No one says that that is absolutely necessary. But in terms of being motivated and staying true to your craft, being passionate about what you do, like I am about being a motivational speaker. And I actually transitioned from human resources, corporate recruiting, to speaking to audiences. And I found that I love that even more than doing, HR full time. So again, things can be done in its own time, and I just really had to talk to other speakers, see how they do it, how they work it in, how did they transition. Some people transition, some people have been doing this all their lives as speakers, you know. So again, resilience is brilliant, and I'm telling you, it's going to work. You try it. You get up tomorrow morning, you say, hey, look over your last couple of days, even if it was on the weekend, etc., and just figure out what your next steps are. And once you've figured out what your next steps are, then you start to move with those steps. You start to take it seriously and do whatever you need to do to accomplish your goal. Last but not least, before I close, I just want to say it is true that every single day you want to do something for yourself. We do so much for other people. We call them, we text them, we're constantly driving it home. Call me back, text me back. But you don't realize, even when you're doing that, have you done a lot for yourself today? Think about it right now. No matter what time of day or evening you're watching this video, I want you to think about what have you done for yourself in the past 24 hours. And when you figure that out, and once you can hone in on that, and then you think about the entire 24 hours, did you do something great for you? If you did, that's excellent. You are on the path to motivating yourself, perhaps, hopefully, motivating others, which is what I hope I did for you today. And most of all, keep in mind, brilliance and resilience is phenomenal. You are already great. You're already motivated. You just have to stay there. Again, I want to thank you for listening to me today. You can find me out there on Facebook or follow me on Twitter at Speaker Toye JV, or LinkedIn, or just connect. Again, speakermatch.com. Check out my profile. If you have an event coming up, I'd be happy to look at that and look at the details. It costs you nothing to check out my profile on speakermatch.com, and it will give you information of how to contact me directly. And I appreciate that, but I will need the details. Again, if you have events going on in the Atlanta and or Florida or New York area, those are some of my signature areas that I look at in terms of audiences and being available. So that would be great. Career, educational, life skill topics, that's what I do. So again, keep in mind today, what do we say? On 3, brilliance and resilience will work for you. Toye Johnson-Vincent, thank you very much. Have a wonderful week.